Diablo 4, good? Question mark? By an Australian.
What's going on, boys? Quinn69 here. Today, you are getting an exclusive video, and I'm going to ask the question, is Diablo 4 bad? Or is it good now, if they saved it?
I can't.
I don't know, you know?
Let's
get straight into it. I'm not going to mess around here. It's going to be raw, good takes, hardcore content. So, what are some of the W changes Blizzard has made, with the Season 2 patch?
Gem stash.
So, they made the horse.
I don't even know how, by the way, the gem stash works. It just confuses me.
Run faster. And they made him less buggy.
True.
Now, he still does bug out, okay? Still, like, you're trying to go through zones, and it's like... But, you know...
Honestly, I talked about this yesterday, but the fact that this game needs a horse just means it's bad. In other games, like PoE, how often have you ever wished for a horse? Never. Last Epoch, how often have you wished for a horse? Never. You still have pretty big maps to get through, but you never wish for a horse. But in Diablo 4, for some reason, you want a horse. You know why? Because the game levels are just designed bad. That's why you want a horse. You shouldn't even want a horse.
You know, for the most part, it's significantly better. And then when you're trying to traverse through the dead solar zones of Diablo 4 and you're trying to get to a destination, you can get there faster. So, you know, that's overall, you're going to enjoy yourself slightly more because you don't have to endure it as long, you know, the traveling. Okay.
Oh, man, he actually had it spot on. I was going to say that. Yeah. Diablo 4 needs to make the horse better and faster because you want to spend less time in this dead, useless, boring world that has nothing in it. That's why the horse needs to be better. Other games just make the game good. Diablo 4 makes the mount faster. Pretty good.
Okay. No, but seriously, the horse changes. Good job. You know, keep up those, you know, we could still see another horse patch. They can get rid of some of the more bugs, but, you know, good job, Blizzard.
Make it
they
faster.
also took a mechanic that was completely broken, bugged, and should never have been implemented in the way it was. I don't even know how it made it to life, but, you know, resists. They took resists, and they took that mechanic, and then they made it functional. Now, is it perfect?
Imagine taking resists and just making them like Diablo 2 resists. Or Path of Exiles. Path of Exile actually got the resistance system from Diablo 2. By the way, 1 for 1, in fact. But man, Diablo 4 and then Diablo 4 decided, hey, you know what? Resists are a good system as they were in Diablo 2. How about we just keep them like that? There's no point in innovating on something that people like.
No, it's not perfect.
Well, there is a point to innovate with something people like. But, man, you usually innovate in the better direction, not in whatever the resistances were before direction.
You know, they could do plenty of things to make it better. But resists are significantly better. I would go ahead to say it's 100x, 200x, 300x as good as it used to be. So, good job there, Blizzard. So now that we've got all the positive things out of the way, let's talk about the stuff that's complete trash.
Oh,
and now, this isn't just supposed to be a video that's just saying D4 bad, okay? Because it's not this. It's supposed to be a feedback video and some takes, you know.
Why give Blizzard feedback? It's the same as giving Bethesda feedback. They will literally never care. You're gonna get an best case scenario, you get an automated email saying, your input is valuable. Thank you for submitting this input that no one's ever gonna read and it goes straight into the paper shredder. Thank you. We want to hear from you again.
That maybe the Blizzard devs will look at and think, maybe we should consider that. So, one of the bigger things I want to cover that I feel like a lot of people are not, and in fact, people are even praising this, which kind of blows my mind, and that is itemization changes. I think straight up in Season 2, items feel worse. I feel like that's not even close. I am more flaccid than ever whenever I see an item drop on the ground. I don't know what to tell you. This is to do...
I don't know exactly how he means this, but I have a similar-ish probably take to this.
With the critical strike and vulnerability changes. So with the Season 2 patch, what they did is they made vulnerability no longer a multiplier. Well, okay, the base mechanic is a multiplier, so it multiplies your damage output by 1.2. But the increases to vulnerable damage, just additive, normal increased damage. It's the same. If it says 20% increased vulnerable damage, it's the same as 20% whatever the fuck damage, else on your gear. It's effectively doesn't do much. And then critical strike, the same thing happened. The base mechanic is a 1.5x multiplier,
Yep.
and then it all increases to your critical strike damage on your gear. It's just additive increased damage. And you're like, well, what do you mean? It was OP. Of course they had to make this change. Well, what they've done is they've basically made all damage on your gear homogeneous. It's all the same. But all the mechanics that say...
Ooh, that's interesting because I think that's good. I wanted homogeneous, damage scaling. I wanted you to have the ability to go into vulnerable damage, critical strike, attack speed, base damage, or whatever. I wanted you to have that. I'm not, I don't think this is a loss. I think this is a win. They can further iterate on this now because everything is equal now. So they can make everything distinctively equal. But no, they can make everything equal but distinctive now. That is the next step.
Increased damage while running on Tuesdays. Increased damage to monsters when you're behind them and your character has like some buff and that's all the same shit. It just, you see an item, it's got damage mods, and there's nothing really special about it. You're looking at it and you're like, okay, well this one here only works in this situation, but I mean.
Okay, I fully understand now what he means. Essentially, his complaint is that now items in Diablo 4 are more like in Diablo 3, where if you just see an arrow up, chances are that arrow up is all you need to actually swap a piece of gear. Okay, that's a very decent complaint. Honestly, I didn't think about it. My complaint was a little bit different.
Got a 1.2% more number on that one, and you're sitting there, and ultimately high number good. Now, obviously, there are still things on items that actually are designed well, like plus to skills, things that still exist in the game that actually will make differences, like cooldown reduction. The defensive mechanics, I like those. But when it comes to damage on your gear in the current implementation, it's just worse. It's just worse. And picking up items to me now in Season 2, I'm falling asleep, bro. I am fully flaccid. Now.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you why I don't think items are currently in good position. And that is because Blizzard has completely ruined Diablo 4 scaling. So, there's different kinds of player that play these games. There's people who want to make builds, there's people who want to experience the endgame, there's people who don't have goals, they just want to play for a little bit, okay? And I am one of those people who want to experience builds. I want to decide, hey, I want to play this, and when I'm satisfied, when I think that this is the maximum the build can go, and I don't mean maximum in damage, but when I think that this is all the affixes I need, this is all the things that I can do, and everything else is just, Paragons leveling up. The Paragon part is boring, so I'm going to skip that, okay? I'm going to always skip that. Now, previously my complaint was that level 40 to 50 in Diablo 4 was really boring on Season 1 and Season 0, okay? Because at that time, you had no legendary drops. Well, you got a legendary drop, I don't know, once in a blue moon, right? But you had pretty much no legendary drops. You had no gear to change at this point because everything was already topped out. And you were just waiting until the point where you can get World Tier 3 unlocked so you can get a new tier of gear. And that was extremely boring. And World Tier 3 is where finally the legendaries start dropping, so you can finally actually make your build. Finally, you can do it. Imagine that, boys. You can do it. Yeah, that was the thing. But, and I hate it because that made level 40 to 50 extremely dull and boring in my opinion. But now, in Season 2, legendaries pretty much start dropping from roughly level 20. And chances are, you're going to have all the affixes that you, for the most part, want on level 40. Which means, when you get to level 40, You still level pretty fast, so it's fine, and you don't have all the affixes, but you pretty much have all the baseline that you want, and now it's just rare chase items that you need to spend, either 1 minute grinding because you get lucky, or 500 hours grinding because you didn't get lucky. And that sucks. That really sucks. So as a person who makes builds and wants to see how well do they perform, where's their cap, I see no reason to play to even level 50 anymore. Most builds feel already finished and on level 30, honestly, because you probably are getting the affixes and whatnot, and nothing really seems that exciting anymore, Now, obviously, everyone doesn't feel like that, but I feel like that. It makes the character progression so bad because, well, you're level 50, now you're entering World Tier 3, now you just need to farm probably the same items, the same affixes, just get them on the Sacred Tier. And that kind of sucks. That's really bad progression. It doesn't feel like it's useful progression. It feels like bad progression.
Why is that? It's because the feeling of min-maxing your character is not there. The feeling, I'm playing this build, so I need these rolls, and oh my god, if you're playing a bleed build, you could be getting some mods which give you like physical damage over time multi, or bleeds go faster, or something that fundamentally changes the way your build gets. Like a really OP thing. It just doesn't exist for the majority of builds in the game, outside of the few things I mentioned before. Hence making items feel really shit. I guess what I'm saying is Blizzard should, not even Blizzard, all ARPG items, they should have ultra best in slot rolls. They should have giga OP rolls that are insane.
True, I agree.
Except for only certain builds. There should be many different ways to build your character.
True, agree.
And there should be many roles that effectively do nothing.
Double take from everyone's favorite Australian.
And then there should be some roles that
Imagine Australia was just, the place that, stupid prisoners were sent back in the day by England. That's crazy.
Are insanely overpowered if you're playing a specific physical build that does damage over time, or if you're playing a specific fire build that does big hits, whatever. There should be overpowered broken rolls on different pieces of gear that synergize really well with certain archetypes, so you get those exciting moments of finding an item that is like, wow, this item is literally going to change my damage so much because these things scale my my multiplier and this thing. Yep. Whereas it's the opposite. They also need to just, okay, when it comes to itemization, all this conditional trash, all the 500 different, increased damage, which are effectively all the same thing that have conditions. They were dog shit at the beginning. They're still dog shit now. I think they just need to be just completely redone. They just need to look at those items and just...
Dude, if it doesn't say increase damage to close enemies or increase and take less damage from close enemies, I don't care what it says. Maybe I care for, shadow damage afflicted when you're playing a Necro or something, but bruh, I don't care.
Just...
Damage against elites? I don't care.
Just...
Get rid of
throw it
them
in the trash can.
Yeah.
And then when they do that, they're going to have to rebalance. Of course, when they make these changes and they make these overpowered multiplier rolls on the gear and stuff, you're going to have to rebalance the world. You're going to rebalance the stats on the gear, all that stuff.
That's fine.
And, you just do it. It's an ARPG, and, I feel like items feeling good is kind of a pretty important thing. Also, crafting.
I completely forgot there's even a crafting system in the game. Holy! I legitimately forgot. Wow.
It doesn't exist.
I forgot about this. I completely forgot about this.
What the fuck is that? I guess that's that's a baseline.
Bro.
But then, not only that, even if crafting was possible, it would be pointless because itemization's so bad.
True.
Really, it's a multi-step issue. They fix itemization and then also make crafting better. I know I'm asking for a lot, but these are just things that really, as a gamer, kind of upset me. And then speaking of crafting, actually, why do blue and white items exist? Like, we have this auto salvaging mechanic that you've implemented. I mean, you can just drop the materials now, anyways. So why the hell are these useless blue and white items dropping if they're not used for crafting? We get the mats dropping anyway. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. We can talk about loot filters, but I'll talk about that later. Overall, yeah. So Blizzard, we need OP rolls. You need to bring them back. Now, just don't make them generically overpowered for everyone with just those 2 stats. Many different ways of being OP, but then make them specific to builds. Don't add conditional bullshit onto them. Just make them work in various ways. And where, it would be OP for someone and then completely useless for someone else. And then you can have cool things where you trade items. It's all around just a net positive. Now, boss changes.
Are there any?
So, in Season 2, they added in a bunch of bosses. Actually, a positive. These bosses drop items, and, you can find them out if you need a specific...
My biggest problem with the bosses is, while you're not level 50, well, not in World Tier 3, you can't even get the items. I'm pretty sure that at least you can get the items. So, it's kind of like, okay. So, I want to do... If your goal is to do the bosses, you're again like... Dude, even if you just get 100 of, a boss summoning item while getting 250, that's gonna be a completely different feeling. But currently you have nothing of that, okay? You're like, if you want a boss in the end game, it's just like, well, I need to get to level 50 and nothing else matters. Yeah, that's great. That's so fun, huh, Blizzard, huh?
Specific item, you can go to that boss and you can find that boss out. Not only that, the bosses also incentivize you to go out and do different types of end game, which is, kind of cool. Except for the fact... Huge damage, ramping. He's knocked down, I'm bursting. Why would you make a boss that does no damage? This is the hardest version of the boss chat! Bro, my vampiric powers weren't even active!
Oh, by the way, yesterday, I think there was an update to this game, and pretty much half of the Necromancer's overpowered shit is bugged. I forgot to say about this. I haven't played today. I'm gonna play for an hour or two later on in the evening when I have done all of my stuff. But, man, that's really something, okay? That's really something when half of your shit doesn't even activate. Man, that's so dumb. And by the way, again, if you properly made these bosses even a single % harder, the loser boomers would not be able to finish this game ever. They would complain that it's too hard. The bosses have 2 mechanics. Every mechanic takes like 20 seconds to complete and has a 20-second wind-up. And the boomers would be like, nope, this is too much.
Is this gonna die or is this phase 1? What do you guys think? This phase 1?
Nice.
The bosses are all just completely trivial. They really do just fall over dead, even on my character, which is not considered OP by any means, necessary. It's like I'm playing an ultra mid build, a Blizzard TM build, and yeah, every single boss I've fought, all the new Ubers, Duriel, all that, a complete joke. Now this is an issue. Why is it an issue? It's because that effectively the bosses were supposed to be the new in-game static content.
Yeah, but they're not an in-game.
If all the bosses are just pushovers and they just die, what do you do? Like, there's no content. And in a game which has no content, fundamentally, it's dog shit, right? Because you got nothing to do. Like, what the fuck? You just play. What are you gonna do? You expect us?
Yeah, adding bosses doesn't solve all your issues. You need a little bit meat on those bosses.
Come back, and then the bosses that are added in just, you know. So I guess what I'm saying is they need to hard rebalance all the bosses. And not only that, some of the things like, you know, where they incentivize you to go out and, like, farm these materials to spawn these bosses, they're locked behind legions. I don't like locking bosses behind group content pretty much ever. Like, I'm playing on the Oceanic servers. They're dead. Nobody's playing on Oceanic. I mean, it makes it...
Legions are also the worst content in the game, by the way.
It makes it feel, honestly, like D4 is dead. I cannot complete a Legion by myself.
True. He probably doesn't have enough time. He literally probably just doesn't have enough time. Because when you even split the group in 2 or 3, as it usually happens, you're pretty much at like the 50 to 70% timer for Legion events. So if he's solo, yeah, he can't finish them.
With my Blizzard certified build.
And even with an actual OP build, it's like, would he have the movement? No, he would have the movement speed. Yeah, but if you one-shot everything, you're probably fine. But if you don't, it's like, dude.
I cannot get the materials to spawn the boss. That's an issue. Locking materials behind group. I mean, think about it. Imagine if world bosses weren't a complete joke. Imagine if I couldn't solo world bosses. How are you ever going to get the, you know, materials at that point? But thank God, world bosses are also a complete joke, so then you can just get them. Why did no one remind me? I did that whole world boss without the 80% attack speed buff. So I guess what I'm saying is, yeah.
Nice.
Come on. Fix the bosses. The new vampire mechanic, you know, Helltide 2, I think it's...
It's so lame that you need... he's gonna... No, let's just use it right here where he showed it. I can't find it? No, here it is. The fact that you need these things is so lame because they're useless. It's just this is just you. Why does it even exist? I said this before the season started. Like, this is just dumb and useless. What's the point of it? It's just sad. Why even have it?
Helltide 2, I think it's honestly I think it's kind of mid. You know, the power's okay. That you get the vampire powers. I like the fact that they're class agnostic. But there was nothing truly inspiring there that made me want to, like, do a new...
I hate it. I hate the fact that they're class agnostic because that ruins everything, honestly. That really does ruin everything. Because you're if everything's class agnostic, you're never getting, like, the Necromancer Cage HUD that auto-casts your Macabre skills. It just... And that was cool. There is not a single vampiric power that even comes close to the amount of awesome that thing was, okay?
You build or re-roll around, it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, these are kind of nice. The upgrading menu for upgrading powers, oh my god. Never do that again, Blizzard. Never, ever. You need to seriously...
Oh, yeah,
Why
true.
do I need to click so many times just to upgrade my powers? I was getting RSI.
Dude, this is essentially Blizzard looked at Starfield and said, you know what, I like the loading screens. Let's add loading screens in our game without adding loading screens in our game. Let's add loading screens to something that isn't even loadable.
But old man, come on. On top of that, anything that makes sense to be account bound should be account bound.
Yeah.
I don't know if that goes
These are
without saying.
unique.
I mean, I don't know Blizzard.
These are unique. Dude, these are unique. Yeah. It's character specific.
They've learned their lesson. I don't know if they've talked to the World of Warcraft devs. If it makes sense to make it account bound, just do it. It's stupid that the fact that your character specific powers makes no sense. Some other things that really were exaggerated this season, I think. The fact that there's no SSF mode. If I farm out all the mats to get one Duriel boss, and I go run that, I'm basically an idiot, right? I'm an idiot because I could also just get 3 other friends who also have one boss, and then we could get 4 boss kills instead of 1 boss kill.
Oh, that's true.
And then that just makes you feel like a moron, right? So come on, just give us a flag, even though it's not true SSF, because technically you can, whatever, be in the open world and people could help. Who cares? Just give us a little flag that has a little leaf next to it that says, this guy's SSF. So that way you know, you don't really feel as stupid for doing it. I think the game balancing overall in the current state of D4 is complete trash. Everything in the game is just too easy. It's trivial.
Also
I mean, dude,
true.
I don't even think that even a single gamer died. In hardcore, that is. And now, that's because, A, the game's too easy. And then, B, also, you have a cheat death and vulnerability potion in the game. And then you have an instantaneous teleport that gets you out of any situation. What this does, I don't know if you know Blizzard, but effectively, it means everyone, providing you have a reaction time of less than 2,500 milliseconds, you can just proc your cheat death and realize, oh, my cheat death's procced, teleport to immediate safety, and then you can never die. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is make the game harder, and then also remove cheat deaths. Like, why do cheat deaths exist in a game where you can teleport? Or you could...
I actually, there is a legit answer to this, by the way, and the answer is just stupid and everyone hates it. It's the fact that the Blizzard servers are going to kill you before anything else in the game, okay? Without these cheat death mechanics, you're going to disconnect. And then you're going to die. 100% of the time. Without exception. Everyone will just at some point disconnect and die.
Also remove scroll of escape, I guess. But I feel like scroll of escape is, you know, nobody likes dying to DCs and game crashes and stuff. So, oh yeah, actually, let's give a Blizzard W. Actually, it's a Blizzard change. Whenever you disconnect now with the portal scroll, your character teleports to town, which, you know, that's actually a Giga W change. I really like that. I want to say that the changes to the dungeons also make the game feel a lot better.
I don't like the dungeons still. You go into a dungeon that you do not know how it's laid out. It is always so frustrating when you have a choice between going there or going there. Because you have no idea. Because in Diablo 4 it's so badly made of a game that you just... I don't know what I'm gonna do if I ever actually have to go back to a previous location because I just didn't go the other direction. I hate it so unbelievably much, I'm not gonna lie. It's just the worst thing ever. It literally just is. If your quest is to find, I don't know, 2 keys and put them on the pedestals, or destroy 3 piles of whatever, why can't those piles just be marked on the map? Please, just mark them on the map. Because that is so much better than me just thinking, am I going here in the right direction? Or if I don't go here, will I actually miss a thing that I need to do to complete the dungeon? Or am I... It's so sad.
You know, let me take that back down. It feels a bit better. Let me take that down. It feels like slightly better. You know, you're not backtracking as much. You know, you can get to you generally speaking can get to them, but I was still backtracking a ton. I was still having to free prisoners from cages. I was still having to take all this bullshit around, bro.
True.
I feel like you just need to, Blizzard, hear me out. The Nightmare Dungeons system here, it
sucks.
Rework it. Make it about opportunity cost, player-driven choices. You know, let us craft the keys. You know, let us take out all the objectives.
Oh yeah, you can craft keys. I completely forgot about it. Wow.
Just copy Path of Exile map system, but make it like really easy. Okay, just a really simple PoE. Like that's what you kind of tried to do.
Sense.
But honestly, the current implementation, it just feels bad. Let me tell you, it's the best feeling where, you know, you've just kind of got shitty maps and you're just running them. You don't really care. You kind of just kill a few monsters, get to the main guy, get the juice, get out. Get the juice, get out. Then you actually have a really good map. It's got good rolls on it. You juice the crap out of it, you know. Then when you run the map, you kill every single monster. You go to every nook, every cranny. You clear that out, and you get that. You know, it's basically player choice driven. there's opportunity costs, ups and downs, like staying in a map too long. Really, you should just steal that. But just, add the Blizzard touch. Also, I want to say that you probably still, when it comes to tile sets, come on. So many of the maps are still so samey.
It's not even about the samey thing, but this is getting on my nerves just more and more. The more and more I played Diablo 4, this is getting on my nerves. Why do we have these absolutely drawn-out, useless, long-ass corridors full of nothing between changing maps? When you enter the dungeon, you're gonna have 10 seconds of running where nothing happens. It's boring. Why? What? Why? I don't like that. I hate it. Stop. I absolutely hate it. And then what you have? Well, you can have the same thing when you get to the second part of the map. You have a long ass corridor where you need to run for 10 seconds and there's nothing in it and you hate it. Why is that a design thing? I hate it. Remove it.
Like, yeah, they look a little bit visually different, but they're all just like these weird tunnels with offshoots. Give us some big open areas. Give us some, some big spirals, some other stuff. I don't know, dude.
Oh, by the way, yesterday I did the stupid dungeon. It's in the is it dry steps or is it Kazakazan or whatever it's called? But it's that stupid dungeon where you open up the second part and you go in, and there's this almost giant room, but Blizzard did the stupidest thing ever, and they decided to make it a giant square like this, right? And they did here's a wall here that almost extends throughout the whole room. Here's another wall here that extends throughout the whole room, and there's no way to get past these walls. You need to run around them like this in an S form to clear all of the content, which is stupid. It's just stupid because when you enter the room, you're not gonna go start doing the S snake form thing at the start. No, you're gonna go straight up. And now you have, here is a blatantly just long corridor, straight corridor filled with enemies. Here's the same thing, and here's the same thing. And your mission to summon the boss is to kill all of them. All the enemies. It feels so unreasonably bad to do it. It's just the most... They don't even have open spaces. They even fail open spaces.
Just make it a little bit different. Yeah, the stash is still fucked. I don't really need to go on about that. Stash is still fucked. Aspect system, honestly, the more I play with the aspects, the more it's just an annoying chore where, oh, I got a new piece of gear. I have to, like, switch this aspect over. Oh, it's an itemized thing that now my stash is full of aspects that I'm holding on to.
99% of it is just legendary powers that I may use later.
Yep.
And I already know which one I'm going to put on because it says...
Oh, I complain about this, by the way, in Season 0 before anyone else complained about this. I said, hey, just melt it down, let there be a stash tab with every aspect, and you can hold like 1 million of them, okay? And then it just, when you put it on a piece of gear, it just makes a roll from X to X. That's it. That's the aspect system. Why couldn't it be like that? I don't know.
Well, this ability does 100% more damage, so it's like, it's a mandatory thing. I feel like the aspect system as it currently stands probably needs a complete redesign. Maybe you put the aspect onto the item slot and not the item itself. I don't know. And then, honestly, the way that aspects are itemized, I feel like that could also use a rework.
Yes, definitely.
There's been many, many suggestions from the community as to how you could make the aspect system a million times better, like storing them, in some sort of a crafting window. You could basically have an aspect codex which gets upgraded, or it's an aspect codex which just keeps the best version of the aspect you found. You can just use it as many times as you want. There's many ways you can do it. And you can make inventory a little bit less fucked if you really can't just add bank tabs in. I mean, goddamn. Y'all tried to help us by reducing the elixir drop rate because you wanted more room inside the elixir tab, and then you added in 20 world boss maps materials. Just give it as an elixir tab. I mean, holy crap. The Helltide's still shitting out elixirs. All those world boss mats that I don't know why they're itemized, but they are, even though they auto pick up and they don't really feel like they have weight. Just give us a dedicated elixir tab at this rate. Or if you're gonna put in league mechanic stuff, like put that in its own tab. Loop filters. Come on. You added in the auto salvage, which honestly it was very noticeable in the lower world tiers, but as you get to world tier 4, you kind of just forget about it, and you know, it's okay having the auto salvage where basically the shittier items like the you know, the normal items and that are kept. But the reality is, because of the way that you've decided to put eye level in to the game, where it keeps going up and up and up and up and up, there is so much obsolescence that I mean, why do I want to see as eye level 660 item or an eye level? I don't care about that item. Just let me hide it. Let me hide the blue. You know, if you're gonna add useless white and blue items into the game that are pointless and just fill up my bags, let us fill those out. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I mean, that really is it. I guess to sum it up, Blizzard did make some changes that are pretty good, and there's some steps in the right direction, but it's far and few between. I still think the game itself has no content, and I really struggle. I mean, I basically have one thing that I want to do, which is, you know, kill a certain boss. But yeah, effectively, there's no in-game content, and because there's no in-game content, you don't. What's the incentive to play the game?
Imagine Blizzard watches this and they're like, "Yes, we added endgame now. How do you like this, fellow players?" And the player base is like, "Well, you added endgame content, but where's the endgame content? I still don't see any endgame content. You just added a thing that I kill for free every, you know, X amount of time, honestly, after playing the game. Doesn't feel like endgame content to me."
The game. Like, what's the point of farming an uber unique item if there's nothing to use that uber unique against, right?
True.
And then I think there's still...
This is actually a good point. What's the point of gaining 100 million more damage if everything already gets one-shotted? There's no difference between gaining 0 damage more, 100 damage more, or 10 trillion damage more. If you're already one-shotting everything, it's pointless. It serves no purpose. It's useless.
Massive issues with itemization that honestly went backwards. They went backwards instead of forwards, and I feel like you know, more people need to talk about that.
The typical Blizzard thing, by the way.
So that's about it, I guess. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and well, what do I want to say?
Australia.
Oh, yeah, D4 bad.
Because he is God.
Quinn69, boys. Everyone's favorite Australian. It is what it is. It is what it is. He's Australian. He's Australian. You can't tell me he's not. Anyway, this was Quizzer Sensei. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye bye.